Baroness Hoey to ask the first oral question.
My Lord, I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
I call the Minister by count. Young.
My Lords, the United Kingdom is a family of nations and a union of people. The recognition and protection of rights are fundamental values of our union. This is reflected in the Government's unwavering commitment to the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, of which guarantees of rights are an essential part. The Government will take every opportunity to strengthen Northern Ireland's place within the UK and will continue to ensure that the rights of all Northern Ireland's people are protected within it.
My Lords, but surely one fundamental right which all UK citizens should enjoy is, in a democracy, is being able to elect those who make the laws for the economy. The protocol, introduced without one single person in Northern Ireland agreeing to it, has now placed Northern Ireland in the outhouse of the United Kingdom family, with a foreign jurisdiction making the law and a foreign court overseeing it. Does the noble Lord recognise that the constitutional position of that part of the United Kingdom has changed utterly with the loss of this fundamental right?
Well, my Lords, I think it's fair to say that urgent progress is needed to restore confidence on the ground and to address those issues that are outstanding on the protocol. But can I just remind the noble Baroness, who will know only too well, that under Article 2 of the protocol, and I quote, it says the United Kingdom shall ensure that no diminution of rights, safeguards or equality of opportunity as set out in that part of the 1998 Belfast Good Friday Agreement entitled Rights, Safeguards and Equality of Opportunity results from its withdrawal from the Union, including in the area of protection against discrimination.
Lord Lamont of Lerwick.
My Lords, if there is equality of rights between the citizens of Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, how is it that in GB, at a funeral, even a royal funeral, only 30 people are allowed to attend, whereas in Belfast, apparently, a funeral for an IRA Sinn Féin supporter can be attended by over 1,000 people?
Well, I certainly don't want to be drawn in on answering on that particular thing, but only to reiterate that the Government takes its obligations in regard to the rights of all United Kingdom citizens incredibly seriously. And the Government is committed to the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, and the protocol does not impact on the constitutional arrangements within the United Kingdom or the provisions within the Belfast Agreement.
Fox of Cumnock.
My Lord, but would the Minister agree that any difference between the rights of citizens in Northern Ireland and the rights of the rest of us in the United Kingdom is one of the many results of the Brexit disaster, which the Northern Ireland people voted against? Who does the Minister think is most to blame for this? Boris Johnson, Arlene Foster, or the noble lady who tabled this question?
Well, I can only reiterate again, as I said earlier, that we are urgently looking at addressing the issues on the ground, and as the noble Lord will know only too well, that there is much work going on between my noble friend Lord Frost and Mr Shekovitz in terms of addressing the outstanding issues to ensure that the rights are equal between the citizens of Northern Ireland and indeed in the rest of the UK.
Baroness Sutty.
My Lords, the Belfast Good Friday Agreement enshrined many rights for the people of Northern Ireland, but following Brexit, there are fears that some of these rights are being diminished. Does the Minister agree that the British-Irish Council would be a useful forum to discuss these concerns? And can he confirm when he expects the next meeting of the British-Irish Council to take place?
I can't confirm the actual date on that, and I know that I was drawn in on the BIIJTC on the other day. I understand the sentiments from the noble Baroness, but I can't give any further information, but she will know that we are aware of its potential operation.
Does my noble friend agree that a clear majority of people in Northern Ireland continues freely and legitimately to support the Union on the basis of their, quote, cherished position of equal citizenship in the United Kingdom? So can he assure the House that this Government will always defend and uphold that fundamental position of equal citizenship for all the people of Northern Ireland against any threat, including in relation to the EU's implementation of the protocol?
Well, I believe my noble friend makes the right emphasis, because the Government firmly believes that UK nationality law is consistent with its Belfast Agreement obligations and therefore equal citizenship within the United Kingdom. And the government has always stressed the importance of the Union and Northern Ireland's place within it. We share, as my noble friend will know, so many cultural, social and economic ties that make for greater prosperity and for security.
Lord Murphy of Torvine.
My Lords, there is much unease in Northern Ireland at the moment, and the marching season will soon be upon us. So does the Minister agree that dialogue and intervention are now vital? And so will he convey to the Prime Minister and to the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland that their personal involvement is now absolutely necessary to stop any drift towards potential instability in Northern Ireland?
Well, I can certainly pass the message on, upwards, I should say, to answer the noble Lord's question. But can I just reassure him again that there is much work going on with intensive discussions between the co-chairs of the Specialised Committee who have begun to clarify and work forward and address the outstanding issues. And there's some very good positive momentum has been established. But as I said earlier, these matters are urgent and they must be addressed.
Lord Lilly.
Given that the anomalous position spelt out by the noble Baroness Hoey of Northern Ireland is justified by the need to uphold the integrity of the European single market, can my noble friend explain to me why it's necessary to have barriers to goods coming from GB towards the European single market to uphold its integrity, but no barriers are necessary to uphold the integrity of the British market, the United Kingdom market? Is their argument simply bogus or bureaucratic obsession, or are we letting our internal market be put at risk?
Well, I think it's fair to say from my noble friend that we're going over some old ground because of the agreements that have been set out in terms of the unfettered access that is in place for goods that move from Northern Ireland to Great Britain. As my noble friend will know, there are some necessary minimum checks required for certain goods going from Great Britain to Northern Ireland.
Lord Wigley.
My Lords, young people in Wales are very envious of the deal facilitated by the Irish government, which enables young people from the north to maintain their full access to the huge benefits of the Erasmus Plus programme. And does this not demonstrate that the best way for the people of Northern Ireland to retain links with the EU, for which they voted, is to work closely with Dublin wherever that is possible?
Well, certainly on that point, as the noble Lord is alluding to, the Irish government has separately offered higher education students in Northern Ireland the chance to take part in Erasmus+, and institutions taking part in Erasmus+ will remain eligible for the Turing scheme, which he may know will enable 35,000 students from higher education, further education and schools across the United Kingdom to go on overseas placements.
Robertson.
My Lords, I spent the best part of a year of my life defending the position of the citizens of Northern Ireland from whatever community as equal citizens of the United Kingdom. And the current situation is not acceptable. So would my noble friend go back to the government and say that Lord Frost or whomsoever must negotiate to amend, scrap or even ignore the protocol?
Well, I don't agree with my noble friend on that particular point. The point is, which I made earlier, that the protocol has got to work. And as I said earlier, urgent progress is being made to address the outstanding concerns. And the House will know that my noble friend Lord Frost will be appearing at the dispatch box tomorrow, and I'm sure that my noble friend will wish to put certain questions to him.
Lord Dodds of Duncan.
Thank you, my Lords. Isn't this a classic case, as far as the protocol's application in Northern Ireland is concerned, of taxation without representation? How sustainable is it that in the Western developed world, in a modern democracy, that people will have laws imposed upon them without any say or without any vote?
Well, the noble Lord will know more than me that actually in terms of consent, ultimately the protocol's fate depends on the political representatives of the people of Northern Ireland, and the Assembly will vote on the protocol next in 2024, as agreed in the protocol itself.
Lord Moylan.
My Lords, the effect of the Northern Ireland Protocol is that any amendment made by the EU to an EU law currently in force in Northern Ireland has direct effect, with no approval needed by the UK Parliament or by the Northern Ireland Assembly, and will be immediately justiciable in the relevant court in the UK. Will my noble friend consider again if this situation of the people of Northern Ireland is compatible with Article 3 of the first protocol of the European Convention on Human Rights, which grants an unbridgeable right to free, secret and regular elections to a relevant legislature?
Well, my noble friend is right that any solution in Northern Ireland should have democratic support, which ties in slightly to the previous question from the noble Lord Dodds. That is why Northern Ireland's elected representatives have a democratic choice. The Assembly can extend or end Northern Ireland's alignment with EU law, with the first consent decision, as I said earlier, at the end of 2024. This process will repeat every 4 or 8 years, depending on whether the consent, if given, is given on a simple majority or indeed a cross-community basis.
My Lords, all supplementary questions have been asked, and we now move to the next question.